Welcome to another Sci-Fi journal presented by the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. This show is for February and March 2021. I'm Marc Morriso. Who else is here? We have Ian Kingston and Madison Kingston. And James Hinsey and Calvin will also be showing up during the program. Unfortunately, because we're not in the studio yet, because of stupid COVID, we have to do this in dribs and drabs and bits and pieces. So that's what we're doing. So let's start off with some movie news and popcorn previews with the ever handsome Ian Kingston.
Why, thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Oh, so I actually have a few movies with some trailers for a little bit of a change here, which is pretty nice.
I like it.
First one up, we've got Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which is coming out on June 25th of this year. Expected date, of course, with COVID, everything's subject to change, so don't hold me to it.
Yep.
It's directed by Andy Serkis, and it's starring Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, Woody Harrelson, and even has a cameo, at least in the trailer, from Tom Holland. So that's pretty awesome. Maybe they'll have the Venom played by Tom Hardy and Tom Holland as Spider-Man team up to fight against Carnage, who's played by Woody Harrelson. That's going to be a pretty great one.
Right.
Let's take a look at that trailer.
Okay.
Sony's finally, I feel like, partnering with Disney on the different IPs and the crossovers between them. They're doing a great job.
Good.
This movie looks very exciting, very dark for a Marvel movie. And quite frankly, it's probably at the top of my to-see list this year already, based on the trailer I just watched a few times. The next one on my list here is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So we have a martial artist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yep, almost go, James, go. There you go. Yeah. Its expected date to come out is July 9th of this year. It's directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, and it's starring Simu Liu, Awkwafina, and Fala Chen. Probably butchered all of those names, but that's okay.
Yeah. Every time I hear the word Awkwafina, I always get thirsty. I don't know why.
Well, drink it up. It's a pretty cool trailer we're about to watch, so take a look at it.
Rings before? The Ten Rings has been in the MCU since the very beginning. Those sons of bitches that Obadiah Stane hired. They helped out Whiplash a little bit in Iron Man 2. There was an imposter that played the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. You remember that, but you didn't see that in Ant-Man, the Ten Rings logo there. And in an awesome short we did called All Hail the King, we revealed there is a real Mandarin, and he was quite upset with the shenanigans that they pulled in Iron Man 3. Well, the Mandarin is in this film. And I will tell you right now that the amazing Chinese actor Tony Leung is playing the Mandarin. Also joining the cast of this film is the incredible Awkwafina. And now I want you to meet the director of Shang-Chi, Destin Cretton.
Hi, everybody. So many of you out there, that's crazy.
Dustin, thanks for joining us on stage. First of all, love the cast. Love the cast.
I do too.
How does it feel to be at the helm of this movie?
It's scary. I grew up I grew up on an island in the middle of the Pacific called Maui. Ooh, that's cool. In a small town called Haiku that had about the population of this room. So standing on this stage is really terrifying for me. But what's really cool is I grew up with friends who were Japanese, Chinese, Caucasian, Filipino, Portuguese, Korean. That's the norm in Hawaii, and it's so exciting to see Kevin and this amazing team begin to create an MCU that reflects all the beautiful colors that I see in this room. So to be a small part in that is really special to me.
Awesome. Well, I don't want to torture you by keeping you up here too long, but really quick question. Some of those Easter eggs really surprised me. I didn't even notice half of them, so I'm kind of shocked. Are you excited to dive into the mythology of the Ten Rings and letting audiences into something that you guys have been seeding since Iron Man?
Yes.
Yeah. What kind? Well, I guess I couldn't say what kind of plans do you have, because then that gives away the whole enchilada. So never mind.
I mean, it's amazing stepping into this and just seeing how incredible things have been thought out from the very beginning. This mind is pretty amazing.
Fantastic. So speaking about cast, do you guys have anything you want to share?
Yeah, maybe. We've been, it's been a really in-depth search to try to find somebody who will capture this character with all the dimensions that he deserves, and it's going pretty well. We found him.
Do you want to?
You guys want to meet him? It is a huge honor for me to introduce you to the incredible Simu Liu.
Wow！ 我自我介绍一下好不好？我的名字是刘思慕，我是哈尔滨出生的，多伦多长大的。今天我非常感谢漫威给了我这个机会扮演上旗。Did you guys get that, by the way? Not a damn thing. Okay, that's cool.
If I ask this question and you've already answered it, I'm sorry. But when did you find out that you would be Shang-Chi? And how do you think becoming that part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to change your life? Because it most certainly will.
Okay, so here's where I have a bone to pick with Kevin, because I feel like I was like kind of this social experiment of like, let's just take this guy, the ordinary guy living in Toronto, let's tell him that he's gonna be in the next Marvel movie and give him like 4 days to prep for it. So literally, guys, I was cast on Tuesday. I screen tested on Sunday in New York, and this is just the craziest dream. And all your beautiful faces. I can't describe how I feel right now.
Have you ever been to San Diego Comic-Con before and knew anything about it before you got here?
This is my first time. Why? Is this a difficult hall to get into, or something like that?
What's your first impression now that you're here? Because it's a pretty intense con.
It is pretty intense. You know, I'm looking out at all your beautiful faces. Actually, sorry, if I could answer your last question, because you asked me how it would change my life, and obviously it's the fulfillment of my dream, but I can't help but think about my parents. My parents immigrated from China to Canada 25 years ago with nothing except the hopes and dreams to build a family and to build a life for their kids, and all I've ever wanted to do growing up was to make them proud. And so basically what I'm trying to say is I'm really happy that I'm not a doctor, and so take that, Mom and Dad. Comic-Con's great. This is the best crowd ever.
I swear, you guys with these parent stories are like killing me over here. Like, I can't handle it. Simu, congratulations on getting the role of Shang-Chi.
Thank you.
And thank you both so much for joining us on stage. Congratulations.
Thank you.
the whole martial artist spin on this, it brings it back down to normal human capabilities with a little bit of an enhancement.
Right.
Marvel's on a kick right now. They're going to be crushing this year and hopefully bring a little bit more joy with the leverage of Disney Plus and having that additional platform. I'm sure it's going to be driving subscriptions. They're just going to have a lot of great content.
And I'm sure it's going to be much better than the Netflix Iron Fist debacle that we got before.
Yeah.
PU. Anyway.
It was not the greatest. I agree.
No.
Daredevil was fantastic. Jessica Jones was enjoyable. Luke Cage had its interest parts. And then Iron Fist is just boring. It was awful.
And the Defenders wasn't that good either.
No. They didn't do a good job. Just leave them separate and have an occasional cameo, kind of like what they do with Flash and Green Arrow and everybody. Yep. So the last one I have is the Eternals. So the third one I'm bringing up here is yet another Marvel movie. Like I said, they're killing it. I'm probably next episode, maybe I'll cover some upcoming Star Wars movies that have been slated and have some footage out, but we'll see. This one comes out expected November 5th, 2021. So if you're a V for Vendetta fan, you might be watching 2 movies on that day. Otherwise, be watching hopefully this one. The director is Chloe Zhao, and it's starring Angelina Jolie, Gemma Chan, and Salma Hayek. That's pretty exciting. They're bringing in a lot more all-star cast Hollywood stars into more and more of these movies and making comics and superheroes a lot more mainstream than they've already become. It's great to see. You normally don't see actors or actresses like Salma Hayek in a movie like this, so that's gonna be pretty cool. And Angelina Jolie is always a great eye candy to watch on screen as well. So let's take a look at that one.
Now let's talk about a film that's coming out in November of next year about a group of immortals created by Disney legend Jack Kirby in a film we call The Eternals. Now we have assembled a giant cast for you in this. This story spans thousands of years. We pull back the cosmic curtain on the MCU in ways you can't imagine. You want to meet the Eternals? All right, ladies and gentlemen, as Icarus, Richard Madden. Playing the Eternal Kingo, Kumail Nanjiani. As the fastest Eternal there is, Makari, Lauren Ridloff. We've got as Phastos, the amazing Brian Tyree Henry. Let me introduce you to the leader of the Eternals, Ajax, played by Salma Hayek. And playing an Eternal that is eternally stuck in a 12-year-old body, even though she's 7,000 years old, Leah McHugh as Sprite. As the powerful Gilgamesh, Don Lee. And as the warrior Thena, Angelina Jolie. Now, I want to introduce you, there's a new Eternal named Druig, played by the great Barry Keoghan. And believe it or not, that's not all. As our final Eternal, Cersei, we have Gemma Chan, who is... And I can also confirm, playing a non-Eternal character in this film named Dane Whitman is Mr. Kit Harington. This one is big. Our director, Chloe Zhao, is in London getting ready to work, but I really wanted you to meet, ladies and gentlemen, our Eternals.
So moving on to one of the greatest wonderful segments that we could ever have on this show. It's called Game Over with Calvin Watts III. Take it away, Calvin.
So, hey guys, welcome to Game Over. Except there really isn't a whole lot of game going on, so I'm just glad it's not game over for like the world yet, and we're fighting back. A lot of stuff going on with home video releases. It seems like even though streaming has really taken off, there's still a lot of catalog titles and new titles that are still coming out, including some stuff that's going to be like really, really cool. So we're going to tackle some of the catalog titles, and what that catalog is basically like old titles or old movies, not anything like new releases, like say Wonder Woman 84, which is finally going to be coming out, by the way, on the end of March on the 30th on 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD. So if you actually liked it and you don't have HBO Max or you want to see it, you can pick it up on that date. Shout Factory's Event Horizon, the special edition, and this is a movie that came out in, I believe it was 1997, starring Lawrence Fishburne. Had a really cool cast. Jason Isaacs was in it. It didn't do too well at the box office. It's a horror movie. Take off on, think a mix between Alien and Hellraiser, for lack of a better term. But it's
that was a strange movie. But
it was a great movie. It found new life on home video, and it is going to be a special collector's edition. In fact, the story behind the director's cut is like almost legendary. So, but that's a whole nother thing on there. So that was supposed to come out around Halloween last year, but with COVID and the pandemic, it got pushed back. So it has an official release date now of March 23rd, which will be pretty cool. Also coming for the catalog titles, which are going to be really, really cool. 1985's Explorers. We've seen that. In fact, wasn't that one of the movies we did recently for the Sci-Fi Club?
Yeah, we did that last year. Yeah, that was one of them.
Yeah. Well, we just hit 2021, so that's a really cool sci-fi, family flick starring Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix. Also for the first time on DVD, and this is where you can see the Kong, or Godzilla versus Kong, which has a release date now on both HBO Max and in theaters at the end of March. King Kong 1976. And Shout Factory is going to be handling the collector's edition. And Shout Factory does an awesome job of putting together collector titles that will appeal to like everybody. There's enough extra stuff in there. Their releases, for the most part, they're remastered perfectly and usually like really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to both of that.
Is that the one with Jessica Lange?
Yes, Jessica Lange and Jeff
and
Bridges.
The Twin Towers.
Yes.
And the Twin Towers.
Her first film.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool. Some other titles that are going to be coming out. Godzilla 2014. I didn't know that Godzilla 2014 didn't have a 4K release. So I guess it was just right around, when they started coming out with 4K titles, but because of the Godzilla versus Kong movie. So the 2014 title will be released in 4K in March. Also coming out on 4K Blu-ray are The Final Countdown, which is the 1980 time travel World War II movie.
Yep.
Cult classic Donnie Darko with Jake Gyllenhaal. That's a great movie. And something I will absolutely buy in a heartbeat, even though I've probably bought it 5 or 6 times. Mel Brooks Spaceballs in 4K remastered. That is a guilty pleasure, and I don't care. I'm getting it.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Right.
Ding, ding.
Also,
ding, 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 ding.
Gerard Butler's disaster flick, which was very well received and did pretty well on streaming video on demand. Greenland now has a Blu-ray release here, but not a 4K release. It has been released in 4K overseas, and this is a little tip for people that you might not know. When DVDs first came out, a lot of them were like region locked. So if you got something from overseas, you couldn't do that. So every region, and our region originally was like North America. So it was us, Canada, and Mexico for like DVDs. if you got something from somewhere else to the UK or France, it wouldn't work in your place. You need to have like a special player, or they'd have to specially encode the DVD, which was few and far between. When Blu-rays came out, they switched around the regions a little bit, so we actually got Japan's, which was really cool. So then any animated stuff that came out in Japan, you could watch over here. So that's still the case,
Well,
but with the
yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, and that's partly because their TV format before that was NTSC, which is the same as ours, and they
Right.
were 60. That's versus CCAM or PAL. That was pretty much everyone else around the world.
But now with the new technology, even if you for the 4K disc and a lot of titles now will come with a 4K disc, a Blu-ray disc, and possibly a DVD disc, depending on the catalog release. 4K discs are region free. So if you buy, I don't know, give me some Japanese movie that's in 4K over there, it'll play here. So Greenland was released in 4K in Europe, just not here. They're not sure if they're going to do a 4K release there, but it's definitely worth seeing. I would highly recommend it. Last thing that they are talking about, and there's no official word here. I don't know if you guys talked about it or not, though, but Zack Snyder's HBO Max Justice League was originally supposed to be a 4-part miniseries. It is officially coming out in March, and they've decided instead of having a 4-part miniseries, they're just going to make it into one like long ass 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks
All
like
in one.
after having a limited screen of exclusivity on HBO Max, there is going to be a physical catalog release in 4K. So more details on that as it comes. So the reason why I spent a lot of time on movies and TV shows and 4K and Blu-ray is because there really is not much going on in the video game world.
Yeah.
Consoles for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and conversely the Series S and the digital version of the PS5 are still in extremely short supply. Both Sony and Microsoft has said that supplies are going to be constrained through at least the springtime and possibly more. If you're looking for a Nintendo Switch, though, they are starting to pop up in the wild. So that's something that you can look forward to. Some of the big video game releases are still on track, though. Resident Evil Village should be coming out within like the next couple of months or so. If you're looking for something that's a little bit cooler, that's not a console, though, the arcade 1-up and Legend pinball tables are starting to hit shelves as well. That's like more of like a physical metaphor because those things are absolutely huge as we speak. So the arcade 1-up had 3 different versions. There was a Marvel pinball table, there was a Star Wars pinball table, and then there was a Williams pinball table. Williams is an actual pinball manufacturer, and each table has around like 10 Zen tables each. The Legends pinball is really cool, and the fact that they licensed most of what was left from the old pinball arcades tables, so like Gottlieb tables and stuff. You also have the ability to add different pinball games into it and add, your own tables from like the PC programs, Visual Pinball and Future Pinball. So that's gotten like a really big push from like collectors and retro game players out there. So It's a little on the expensive side, but you can check all sorts of different YouTube videos and see for yourself that is pretty cool. So that's basically pretty much it for my segment, but just something I want to pop in to your heads before we move on to Tube News that we need to start thinking about. So this is our first real meeting of the year. It's 2021. Do you know what that means?
What?
It means we've been on the air for way too freaking long. This fall, well, technically this spring will mark our 25th anniversary.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you viewers, we do hopefully, COVID is still out there and dealing with the pandemic, but we are bouncing some ideas around and maybe having some really cool things and maybe having like a really nice 25th anniversary reminiscing show where we'll have, former guests, former host, a little bit of surprises here and there, and something that you guys have stuck with us all this time. At least somebody out there is still watching us. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's yep, and if not on Rhode Island Peg Access, they're watching us on YouTube. So who knows?
so we appreciate all the support we've gotten over the years, and
Mhm.
more on that as we come along.
Okay.
All right, enough about me. Let's go to Mark with Tube News. Take it away, Mr. Morrisell.
All right, thank you, Mr. Watts. Here we go. Tube News. This month, what I thought I would do, let me get my little cheat notes here. Na-na-na. La 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 la. Okay. I'm going to talk about new Marvel shows on Disney Plus for 2021, which is cool. WandaVision has already been released in February. There are 9 episodes total. The final season is going to be March 5th. If you have not checked out WandaVision, it is awesome. It starts out like a sitcom from the 1950s and then moves into the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So if you're an old dude like me, you get very nostalgic watching all this stuff. And it starts off in black and white, which is even better. I mean, when I first watched Star Trek, back when it went into syndication, I watched it on black and white. It wasn't until when I was in high school, my family finally got a color set, and I went, "Oh man, this show's in color."
Wow, TVs weren't always in color?
No, they weren't.
You must be really old.
They had
I am.
television with the dinosaurs were around.
No, not the dinosaurs, but
Well, you were around.
the lower apes. We'll go with that.
Gotcha.
Fair
Gotcha.
enough.
Okay.
All right, so here's some stuff that's coming up on Disney Plus. Bunch of wise guys. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, starring Anthony Mack and Sebastian Stan. That starts on March 19th. That's a continuation of the Captain America storyline, which is good. Loki with Tom Hiddleston. He visits an alternate timeline that was created by Avengers Endgame. And that starts in May of this year. Then this is what I'm really looking forward to. What If is the animated series in the summer. It's going to be 23 episodes. They have shorts like, what if Agent Carter received the super soldier formula instead of Steve Rogers? So she became Captain America. If you're familiar with the What If comic books, and if you're not, go back and find the old issues because they're awesome. They took the Marvel characters and they created alternate scenarios for them and all these things. So this is going to be a lot of fun because there'll be 23 episodes of it starting over the summer. And many of the original actors who were in the movies are going to be voicing the roles in this What If series. So that's pretty cool.
Space. Time. Reality. It's more than a linear path. It's a prism of endless possibility.
Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all.
I was promised an army.
You have a super soldier.
You sure don't seem too freaked out about all this, kid. What you doing out there all by yourself anyway?
Exploring the world.
Sounds fun. But why stop at one world when we can show you all of them?
I am the Watcher. I am your guide through these vast new realities. Follow me and dare to face the unknown. And ponder the question,
Give me the tour.
And then next up, we have Ms. Marvel, which is Kamala Khan, that character, starring Aman Vellani, which sets us up for Captain Marvel, rather, season 2. That's this girl is the one that took over the role from the original Captain Marvel that we saw in the movies. So this Captain Marvel 2, what's her name? Brie
Larson?
Brie Larson is going to be handing over the role of Captain Marvel to this younger girl. And that's what's going to be the series. It's going to be a TV series.
Already sounds like an improvement.
It does. I know. And then one that I'm really looking forward to, there's no date announced yet, but She-Hulk is being made into a series for Marvel Disney Plus. And the really exciting news about that one is that the star of this one will be Tatiana Maslany of Orphan Black.
Wow.
She's going to play Jessica Walters, the cousin of Bruce Banner, who receives her Hulk powers by getting a blood transfusion from her cousin Bruce.
So
That looks awesome.
I was really curious though, because I could have sworn that She-Hulk was like when they just filmed Maddy when she got really angry one day. But
It might be.
or maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense.
I
But
know. Because as I watch her skin, her color's turning green, so that might have something to do with it.
I mean, that does explain
She
all
hates when I point it out.
explains all
Yeah.
the cameras too.
Yeah. And it explains you having to go to the store to get all those new shirts because you keep ripping out of them.
I know.
I know. Although I suspect that if it's going to be on television, when she rips out of a shirt, it'll be like in certain places only, whatever.
They ruin all the fun.
Yeah, they ruin all the fun. Okay, and then the last piece of news I have really isn't a TV show, but it's like a former TV show. If you're a fan of Firefly and the movie Serenity like I am, Boom Entertainment is going to be creating a new series called Firefly, brand new verse. It jumps 2 decades into the future and will focus on Emma, the young daughter of Hoban Wash, and Zoe Aline from the movies and the series. It features an all-new cast of space cowboys, and the project is being written by Josh Lee Gordon and drawn by Fabiana Mascolo, who's an excellent artist. So Boom Entertainment is doing a lot of good stuff with this Firefly franchise. So this new book takes place after the Serenity movie. Up until now, Firefly, which is this book right here, can you see that? All right. They've been running a series, a comic series that still takes place before the Serenity movie. This new brand new verse takes place after.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to. It'd be a lot of fun. All right.
Awesome.
Yep. And that's all I have for tube news. But right now, usually in December, we do an in memoriam for all the TV, movie stars, and other important people who passed away in the previous year, like 2020. So we want to show that right now for people who passed away in 2020. And unfortunately, because of this pandemic, there are way too many of them. And it's sad news, but we still need to do it. So let's take a look at in memoriam for 2020. All right. And that's all I have this month for Tube News. Let's move on to books and board games with Miss Maddy Kingston. What you got for us this month, Cutie Patootie?
Thanks. So I have two board games. A lot of the board games that have been released for January and February of this year are a lot of add-on pieces to current games or a lot of like D&D style sets that, I mean, if you're not into D&D, I could sit here and explain them and you have no idea. It tends to be a lot of what's coming out right now. Kickstarter doesn't seem to have anything crazy yet. I know that probably the pandemic last year put a halt on a lot of people trying to get these things going with production facilities being down and all of that. But I did manage to find two. Very cute. The first one is called Cubitos, Cubitos. It is released by Alderac Entertainment Group, created by John D. Clare. It is a $60 game. It's 2 to 4 players with about 30 to 60 minute playtime, ages 10 plus. It's scheduled to release on February 19th. This one seems really cute. It says, in Cubitos, players take on the role of participants in the annual Cube Cup, a race of strategy and luck to determine the Cubitos champion. Each player has a runner on the racetrack and a support team, which is represented by all the different dice that you roll. Each turn you roll dice and use their different results and abilities. However, if you roll too much and you move too far, you can also face some consequences. So it's a really cute game where everybody has almost like a horse on a racetrack, and your goal is to use different dice to help you move faster or hop over different people to be the first one to win. It seems really cute. There isn't too much else on it. I couldn't find any pictures of pieces or anything yet. That might be different by the time that you see this. But it just looks really cute, like a fun, simple game that anybody can really get into. The last game that I have is called Silent Planet. This is released by the company Amigo, and Klaus Altenberger is the man.
You said Silent Planet.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Is the man in charge. The only one that I'm describing is the German edition, so I'm hoping that an English edition will come out soon. But hey, it's a chance for you to learn German. We're not doing anything else, so why not?
Braunschweig.
This is listed at a price of €8, which
okay.
seems pretty cheap to me.
What does that translate? What does that translate into US dollars?
Like $10.
$10.
Is it $10? Oh, that's nothing. Okay.
It's 2 to 6 players, 15-minute play time, ages 8 plus, and it was set to release in January in Germany. So, in Silent Planet, players are given the task of forming alien teams, but they are not allowed to speak to one another because you're stuck in the vacuum of space. You can only solve this by tasked together by using non-verbal communication skills. So after reading through the description of the game, essentially what happens is you and everyone who are playing are supposed to design an alien team.
All right.
You have to do this using cards. Now, everybody's given different sets of cards. There's like matches of cards. Like you can have cards with all of the same number on them, or cards of all the same type of alien on them. And the goal is that you're trying to communicate silently with everybody else around the table to make sure that everybody puts down the same or the expected type of card, so that by the time you get back to the first person, when you flip the cards over, you have a team. If you don't, then you lose the game. That's why it's a very short play time. So it's a really fun game that's kind of there just to get you to learn how to communicate without talking. It can be kind of fun if like you're playing with people and maybe you make it so that you can't write anything down. So you have to try and communicate without being able to actually write out or say any words. It just seems like a really cute, fun game. It's like it's just a card game. It's got 55 alien cards and they all have different meanings. And then there's certain combinations you can and can't do. And like some make it so that you don't need as many aliens, yada, yada. It just seems like a really fun game to test your skills in communication with your family and friends.
And you said that if you get back around or back to the beginning or whatever, you lose the game?
So what happens
Well, that's what you said, right?
No.
Okay.
So what happens is everybody gets a chance to put down a card. You all have a hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first person puts down their card face down, and they communicate in some way with the rest of the table what card they put down. Then it moves to the next person. They have to then look at everybody else who's trying to communicate to them, okay, you need to put down blah, blah, blah card. They put their card down, moves to the next person. Once everyone has put their card down, you flip them all over to see if you were able to communicate and create a team or not.
And if you don't, then you
automatically lose.
So just so the viewers at home know, that means that you just lost the game.
There you go.
Dad, do you get that? You get that joke, Dad?
I do. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I just won the game too. Thanks.
All right, and that's all we have for books and board games.
That's it.
Awesome sauce. All right, why don't you introduce Mr. James?
All right. Well,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. The time we all yearn for. The time we search for every month. What am I missing in my life? Oh, that's right. Anime Daisuki with James Hinsey. Ready? Go,
James.
Hey everyone, so I just hopped in here for Anime Daisuki because I was on the road working today. So Anime Boston has officially canceled for 2021. It was supposed to be set for April, mid-April, and because of the state of the way things are, and they're not even going to do virtual, they're just going to postpone it to next year. And next year in 2022, it'll be in May, I believe, Memorial Day weekend, which they have done that before versus Easter weekend. So I think, that'll be a much nicer time of the year with the weather and things like that. And especially for photo ops outside near the convention center and stuff. So stay tuned for more news from Anime Boston as we go through the year. And next, so Pacific Rim has an anime coming to Netflix, and they've got a trailer out for it now. Let's see, it's the Pacific Rim: The Black, and the trailer has a little bit of a sneak preview of the kaiju that's going to be involved. And I'm trying to remember if it's being yes, Polygon Pictures is doing the animation. Polygon Pictures has done the animated Godzilla films that were on Netflix, and Knights of Sidonia, which was the first anime that Netflix had as a Netflix original. So yes, Polygon Pictures will be working on that, and they've got a voice cast too. That's they've been putting some of that information out. So check it out.
Never thought we'd come back here after.
After we barely escaped with our lives?
All I know is we're going to get the hell out of here. Could really use your help.
Somebody! Anybody!
We hid from the world for 5 years.
This is not living. We're just waiting here to die.
We're waiting for Mom and Dad.
They're never coming back.
Kaiju have taken the continent. Help isn't coming.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
Welcome, Cadet. I am Loa. Why did you enter this facility through the roof?
Shortcut.
And why did you not use the ladder?
Shorter cut?
We have a fighting chance to find Mom and Dad. It's like the world's gone crazy. Small kaiju, him. I don't know what's necessary or right.
Listen to me. We'll show them what we can do.
I advise immediate retreat.
wrong advice. Together, we keep going!
I'll return to fight.
And if we're lucky, we'll survive the day.
Go, go, go! What is that?
And next, Netflix is also streaming the final episodes of Pokemon Journeys, and that'll be on starting like March 5th. So you can check that out for all you Pokemon fans. And also, I just saw that the second season for the Promised Neverland, was it? Yeah, the Promised Neverland is diverging from the manga, but the Promised Neverland will still be, taking up the story of the kids who were trying to escape from their orphanage, so they don't get deal with what's outside of the orphanage. But one of the manga creators is involved in the storyline, so they may be changing some of the things around from the manga, and then diverging from it, which is great, I think, because then it creates something new and unexpected for that story. All right, so that's all I have for this month for Anime Daisuke, and well, enjoy. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, James.
What else is going on?
All right. That's going to be it for this month for the February/March show of Sci-Fi Journal. If you want to get in touch with us, our website is www.rasfc.org. Our email is risfic.communications@gmail.com. We're on Facebook if you would like to get in touch with us. Do a search for the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. Do you guys have any shout outs or anything? We're taping this during Super Bowl weekend. So what are your, after we see this, late predictions for the Super Bowl? Who's going to win?
Brady.
Brady's going on the Bucks. All right. James, what do you think?
I'm pretty sure that's the way it's going to go, but I'm going to root for Kansas City because I think that young guy Mahomes is going to he's going to be the next GOAT.
Yep.
So
I'm hoping for a Bucks win, but the odds are favored for Kansas City, but we'll see. I mean, this is Brady. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. I'd like to see him get it one more time.
Yeah.
Would be good.
We just had Arisia a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
I saw the
next weekend
Masquerade.
is Boscone.
Yep.
Yep. The Masquerade video you saw, I was able to edit that together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. And I got some good praise from people. And I definitely did not want to try to duplicate a Masquerade that's on stage onto video, which is what several other Masquerades have done. And because instead I wanted the participants to talk about what they do, what they make, how they make it. And they did. And that's, give them a voice. So,
yeah. All right. Okay. Any shout outs from the Kingstons? Nothing. Okay. Things going well in school and work and all that good stuff.
Yeah, things are going pretty well. Just shout out, I guess, to any Twitch followers of mine that might encounter this. You guys are awesome.
Sounds good. Yep. All right. That's going to be it for this edition of Sci-Fi Journal. This is the first episode of 2021. And we should also make mention that this begins our 25th season of Sci-Fi Journal.
Wow.
Kind of scary. Yep, it's
Yeah.
cool. Yep, it makes us the longest running Rhode Island Peg Access cable TV show.
You want to know what's also scary?
What?
I turned 25 this year.
I know.
If that makes you feel any younger.
No, it doesn't. Thank you for thank you for bringing it up. Yep, that's right. Okay, folks, thank you very much for watching. We appreciate it. Like I said, check us out here on Rhode Island Peg Access or on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe if you go there. And we will see you sometime in late March or early April. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.